Okay folks, I figured I'd show you the garden again. I've already ate quite a few cucumbers off of the vines, and I'll just show you. We've got them sticking out of the fence everywhere here. There's 5 of them, and then there's a bunch, of course, hidden in here and hanging all over the place. Tomatoes, you know, they keep blooming. We're getting more and more blooms and more tomatoes. They're just not getting really big. The actual tomatoes themselves aren't. I mean, they're growing, but they're growing slow, but it just keeps growing up higher and higher and getting more blooms and more blooms. So we'll see what happens there. And then we've got a couple there. It won't be long before I can fry them. And yeah, I like them green better than I like them red. Okay. Backhoe, Stump. Stump was officially gone, dug out, and I didn't even get my cherry tree beside it. I still don't know if I'm going to leave it or not, but it's a wild cherry, but we'll see. But anyway, I got the stump out. Let me go show you it. Okay folks, here's the stump, and you can see the skid steer. Stump's pretty big. Now I've got a bunch of little pieces piled on top of it that I ripped off of it from with the backhoe. I tried to film this. I got just a little tiny bit and the camera shut off, so I didn't realize it had shut off. Alright, going to digging. But length of the stump. This is going to taproot, but it's not as long as a lot of them I've seen. I ran into what we call sand clay, and I'll show you the difference in the color of that in a minute. But these things will grow down until they hit something that holds water, and sand clay holds water a lot better than just plain sand. So this one only went down about 7 feet, and 7 feet is right there above these roots, and come down, and of course it was a little longer than that. You know, it's broke off. It did stick down some more, but these things are a bear to get out. You break all the roots around them, and you dig down as far as you can, and then you just start pushing it back and forth until you break it off. That's the only way of getting them. So, but anyway, we got it, and now we gotta burn it. So I didn't realize, you know, I talked about the lighter, and I knew that there were some companies that used to buy this, and I guess there may still be a company in Georgia somewhere, and they was showing between $2.50 and $4 per pound for a lighter. Now I don't know if that was a full stump or just the lighter out of the stump or what the deal was, but that was sounded awful high to me. So I don't know, I may stack up all my stumps. I've got 3 acres of stumps I really need to dig out, but stack all my stumps up in one area and maybe just sit on them a little while and see if it's worth the trouble to, you know, maybe put a load together to go down there. And because I know they're still buying them, because they're still making, you know, turpentine and cleaning materials and stuff out of them. So anyway, we'll see. All right, let me show you the sand. Okay, you see this sand here. This is just regular old, you know, like a tan color sand. But if you notice how much redder this turns, it's not the same. And then, you know, the deeper you get into it, even more red. So this is sort of considered sand clay, and this packs actually pretty good. And that's what happens is, like I said, the tree will grow down until it gets to that. And I've got a little topsoil back on it, so we still got a lot in here, so we're gonna have to probably put topsoil on. We've never been able to grow grass here because of these pine trees. They will not let you grow grass. And actually, we had a storm come through, and you can see all of that is pine straw on the ground. It was almost like it was snowing out here. And this is all longleaf pine. And there's a lot of people that actually harvest this, bale it up, and sell it. It brings about $4 a bale, I think, right now. We're talking about small bales. These bales are half the size of a hay bale, or smaller, and a lot of them just keep getting smaller and smaller. They'll build hand balers, and then they'll get the they'll bale them by hand, and then you know, the less they pack it and the smaller the bales is, the more bales they can make. So, you know, they've been known to try to, you know, cheat a little bit. But, you get a bad name in the pine straw business and it don't leave you. So it's just the way that is. But yeah, they call it the golden leaf. As you can see, it's gold color. But anyway, backhoe's doing good. I've got an issue with a suction or return line, and I had that same issue when I bought it, or when I went to get this thing. I guess I bought it a long time ago or traded for it. I went to get it. I had an issue with a hose that was on it that was already busted. It's 1 inch return. So we had to get it loaded. So the day before we came back, Mike and I, and we found a piece of 1 inch hose, but it was the same thing they had on it, which was heater hose, and it came off of the school bus down there. So I put it on, and as you can see, it's busted. It busted yesterday, right before I got the stump out. So I shut it off. I had a new piece, which is what's left of the new piece, and I put a new piece on it, and it ran, and it's a lot harder and thicker, but it blew out this morning. So I've got to get a piece of suction hose, 1 inch, that is got the wire in it, you know, decent hose. This is just cheap. We just need low pressure, but you know, a little bit more than that. But it's a return side. But so I've got the hose blown on it again, which is not a big deal. I don't lose much fluid because I shut it off quick, you know. So I can get that back taken care of. But I dug the stump out with the backhoe, and then I used the skid steer to fill back in because it's so much faster. So anyway, that's where we are on that. I wanted to tell you about the steel. I had a lot of people, you know, talking about the carport, and you know, the fact that, you know, I know you can buy carports cheap. Like I said, this is what, 17 by 18 is what it turned out to be. And I bought these uprights and all the 4x4 tubing from a friend of mine, and as scrap, you know, he buys the stuff, and then if it's something that is usable, and a lot of y'all have seen videos of me going over there, Jerry the junk man, and if it's something usable, he'll call me and I'll come take a look, or you know, he may give me a price, or I might have to give him an offer. But he priced this steel at $200, and not including the 4x6 stuff which Daniel gave me from South Carolina. So I've got $200 in steel in this thing. But with the $200, I got an engine, and it's not a good engine, but it's an engine. So it's about as rough as you'll ever see. This is a 348, and it's been in the weeds. It's no good. It's not going to be a fixer. A lot of people, I don't know if they know it or not, 348 and 409 Chevrolet engines didn't have combustion chambers. You know, it's more like a diesel head, and you can see one valve is knocked out and turned, and you can see a cylinder busted there. I think this one's busted too. It is. So engine is just shot. Now, why did I want this engine? Well, first I wanted to tear it down and make sure, see what kind of cracks and stuff. It only had one head on it. Second, there's no cracks on the externals of this thing. I want to clean it up, and for just a coffee table or a static display or something, I've got to find another cylinder head for it. So if anybody's got an old, no good 348 or 409 cylinder head, I'd be interested in buying one. They're kind of heavy, but UPS will ship them. I just want a head to put on it, and then I'm going to find an intake and oil pan valve covers, and I just want to paint the engine up, clean it up, and put it back together just as a display engine. I've always wanted a 348 or 409. I'd love to have 409, of course, but they're, you know, unobtainium now, and you know, 348, maybe one of these days I'll have one that's a good runner, but you know, for now, this is all I've got. I know it's junk, but to me it's still you know, it's something to look at, and something that I really like anyway. I like the design of it. I like the way the pistons are made. The only bad part I've seen is I couldn't even bore this block. Well, you know, I used to have a boring bar, portable boring bar, and I bored a lot of tractor blocks, but the way this block's set up, the cylinders go down and the head's not teed to the cylinders. In other words, that the angle's off, so if I set my machine up on the deck, you'd be boring straight, so you wouldn't be able to bore it. And then you got a relief for a valve here, which makes it a, you know, kind of a pain, I guess, to put sleeves in this thing. But these lifter bores are, you know, I'm sure they're shot. This thing's sitting in the weeds, but this was in with the $200 steel I bought. And this was going to go to the junkyard, of course. I mean, most normal people would junk it, but I'm just not a normal person, I guess. But anyway, I'm going to try to find enough parts for it to, I don't care if it becomes a coffee table or just a painted up, you know, engine for looks or whatever. But, you know, we'll sandblast it, it don't matter, and clean it up. So, but anyway, if anybody's got a head for sale, a junk one, let me know. Don't have to have any valves or anything. I just need one to put on. I'll put a valve cover over it and we'll tie it up. I can buy that, you know, aftermarket chrome valve covers, and I can probably get an aftermarket oil pan and stuff. So that stuff's not an issue. And intake, it don't matter to me if it's a 2-barrel or a 4-barrel. I'm gonna get one and probably buy a 2-barrel pretty cheap and then just paint it up. Okay, so we'll be back on this thing here shortly. I've got some sort of surprises for it that I think a lot of people will like. But we're going to get on the vacuum. You know, I wanted to try to get most of that stuff done this week. Well, I ran into some issues with the temperature and how hot it was and getting work done and having, you know, wrecks and tows and stuff to get. So that's just the way that works. But we've gotten some stuff accomplished. I mean, you know, we got our building here. I'm going to order some tin, and I'll let you know what it costs, so everybody will know a full price that I have in this. Somebody asked if I was going to concrete it down. I'm not for now. I'm not going to mount it down. Especially with all of these pine trees around, we don't get enough wind to really pick that thing up. It would rip the tin off before it would blow it away. Let's put it that way. Same way with this building here. So I'm not too worried about that. And so we're going to get on the vacuum cleaner. I want to go ahead and the shop back. Another thing too, I'm not worried about it being a dust collector. So the explosion part, you know, I'm not going to be doing woodworking or anything like that. So we're not going to worry about that too much. It's more just to do vacuuming. And a lot of the vacuum I'm probably going to be doing, it would be like a, you know, under an intake, or, you know, on the intake on an engine or something like that. Or, you know, inside the car, the floors and stuff like that. So, you know, as for woodworking and dust collecting, I had no plans to use it for that. So we'll just build it however we got to build it. I've just got to go pick up some parts for it. That's going to be our next thing. We'll probably start on that tomorrow. And like I said, I'll be back on this thing here really soon. We'll get the suspension. We're going to lower the back down. We're going to do some stuff that I think everybody will like anyway. Appreciate everybody watching, and until next time, bye.